Hello. Let's do this. Let's get started. I get impatient, so I just want to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. We are talking about Genealogy 101. I mean, the very basics to get started. And then we can kind of dig into a little bit deeper dive as we go. This is going to be kind of a loose format. I've got a presentation here, obviously, but, it's always fun to do the live shows because we have so many people in the house. Check it out. We've got Sweden. I love it. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. So tell me where you're watching from, and we'll just kind of throw a few people on the screen here while we're waiting for everybody to populate in, because they're just now getting notifications that we are starting. So I'm going to just see who all is here. We've got a whole mess of people from around the country and around the world. And it's always fun to see all the folks that we have here. Boy, I wish I could get everybody on the screen, but it's a bit of a challenge. So if you are new here, you'll see more information about me, but I'm Connie Knox, and so welcome. I am super excited to have you here, and I'll throw some more folks on the screen here. So we're going to be talking about, kind of Genealogy 101, kind of the beginner. It's funny because I realized that I have not done a beginner genealogy video on the YouTube channel in like 6 years. I did a series of 12 videos when I first launched the channel, and I see a whole mess of people coming in now. So welcome. I appreciate everybody coming in and saying hello. Let's see if I can get as many of you on the screen as I can all at one time. Boy, there's a lot of folks here. Kansas is in the house. We have Kentucky in the house. We have Arizona. We have several people from Arizona in the house. Aaron, thank you. I appreciate it. Hello from White Oak, Pennsylvania. Welcome, everyone. So, yeah. And yes, you're on time. I know that the time zones can kind of get crazy sometimes. So, if you're new to genealogy, I would love to know it. Put it in the chat. I would love to, yes, no. How many years have you been doing genealogy? A lot of times people kind of get hooked into genealogy by, family lore. Oh, grandpa ran liquor back in the day, or whatever. There's all kinds of family lore people want to figure out. And so we're going to kind of talk about that. And again, if you're new here, my name is Connie Knox. I am a lifelong genealogist here to help you go further, faster, and factually with your family history research. We're going to jump into all of that in just a second. I see a lot of people jumping in to the chat, and oh my goodness, we have Australia's in the house, and Atlanta's in the house, and Florida's in the house. We have a bunch of people here, and hey, Ashley's in the house, and a special kudos to Ashley. She is my assistant, and so thank you, Ashley, for all you do. My goodness, I can never thank you enough. So I do appreciate you being here today. We've got all kinds of folks. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to, quick agenda update here. We're going to talk a couple comments from the last video that I wanted to address. We're going to talk, obviously, the presentation for the Genealogy 101. We're going to do the unboxing. What are you talking about? Well, YouTube has sent me the award for hitting 100,000 subscribers, so we're going to unbox that at the end of the video. And so that'll be fun if you want to stick around for that. And then we'll take your questions in the end. So that's the plan. So it's like I said, you know, I don't think I've done a beginner genealogy lesson here on the YouTube channel in in about 6 years. And actually, I think somewhere right around here is the anniversary of the first video I ever did. Was sometime in August that I uploaded it. And so here's what I want to do. So before we get started, I just wanted to clarify a couple things. And let me pop this on the screen real quick if I can find it in my list of things here. I did a video last week about the ancestry, like doing a makeover on the ancestry profile. And what I did, and thank you for the kudos. I see you there in the chat. I appreciate it. So anyway, one of the comments that I made was that one of the last things I do is DNA, and if it's even needed. And so I wanted to make a clarification because there were several people who called me out on that in the comments, saying absolutely you need to do DNA, and I agree. I think one of the reasons why I said what I said was because I have done so much DNA research that I don't always need to go back and revisit it when I'm doing the profile makeover. And so yeah, some people got upset with me. And the reality is, if you're following the GPS, which is the genealogical proof standard, you should be using all evidence that is available to you, including DNA. And so I just wanted to kind of clarify that and just say you're absolutely right. And yeah, so there we go. Okay, and so I could have said that better, I guess. So one of the other things that, let me see if I can pop this on the screen real quick without totally botching it here. So the other thing that we were talking about also were the emojis that I've used. It's these little symbols that I use on Ancestry, and all you do is you copy those into a profile on whatever ancestor. When you're in the profile screen, you go into the name, make sure you have turned on name and gender facts, and then you go in here to edit, and you can add in the suffix, only use the suffix field if you're going to do this, and you can use whatever little symbols you want to use. This means that, for me, that means I'm working on this particular ancestry at this time, or you can also use these actively researching. So you go over here and hit edit, and you could say verify or actively researching, that kind of thing. These are tree tags. So the cool part about tree tags is you can search them. The emojis you can't. Now, what I wanted to tell you from the last episode was that someone mentioned to me or sent me an email, I don't remember what they said, but they said that if you're syncing with Family Tree Maker, it would not allow them to sync by using the emojis. Once he removed the emojis, he was able to sync. I've not had that experience, but I'm just saying, maybe if any of you have, you know, chime in the comments as well, because people do read the comments. And so, long story short, that's kind of what I wanted to do, was update you on that. So there is a handout for this, and that is for the channel members at the information access level, the Patreon members at the Happy Dance level, and all the Academy members will have it as soon as I get it posted sometime this weekend, probably on the Academy website, or you can purchase it at genealogytv.org. So let me tell you about the handout real quick. It's about, I don't know, 8 pages long. And long story short, yeah, somewhere in there. So what it is it's got some information on the front end, but then it's also got a checklist. So one of the reasons why I did that was because when I first started doing genealogy, I wanted a checklist. I'm a checklist girl, you know? So I wanted to do this checklist, if you will, of what I should be looking for. Well, I promise you this checklist that is in the back last 4 pages of this handout is not everything. I promise you. So, but it's a good starter kit, if you will, what you should be looking for, right? And we'll talk more about that. You know, it's funny, right? 5 minutes before this presentation, I was like, oh, I need to add that. So I threw some things in my notes here to talk about, and some of that is some of the stuff you'll see on the checklist. So let's jump into more about the beginning of genealogy for you as you're getting started. So my biggest thing that I probably promote is one ancestor at a time, because you can really get overwhelmed with, especially if you're getting started, you've inherited boxes from the family of files and stuff, or some other genealogist in the family, and you can really get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that you can come across. And so, and you know how they are. You're on Ancestry or you're on whatever platform you're on, and they're sending you hints. You know, MyHeritage does this too, and they send you little hints. Oh, we found so-and-so. Personally, I don't pay too close attention to the hints that are coming to me in emails unless it's somebody I'm actively working on. So that's why I say one ancestor at a time. Work backwards. So everything we do in genealogy is backwards. You start with yourself, you go to your parents, then your grandparents, and then your great-grandparents, and so on, one ancestor at a time. And then you're also working in reverse order in those ancestors' lives. So as you are working in reverse order. So you're starting with death records, then marriage records, then birth records. You're working your way backwards in all the records in between. So the reason why we do that is because you're going to find more information about a person's death from the death records. You're going to learn more about their life from their death records than you will in any other set of records. So that's why we start there. So let's talk about online versus software. There are several options here. And so we've got online, we've got Ancestry and FamilySearch, MyHeritage and Wiki Tree. We're going to talk about all of these here in a minute. And Find My Past. And then with software, you've got Family Tree Maker. There's just a bunch of them. And I personally don't use software very often anymore. I use Family Tree Maker from time to time because I like the research plan portion of it by location. So the cool part, and maybe some of the others, I don't have the other software, so I'm just saying I'm not an expert on those other software companies. But Family Tree Maker has a plan in there where, like, you're in an ancestor's profile and you go, oh, I need to go to the state archives to look for that record. I want to see the original. You can put it as a task in Family Tree Maker by location. It's a little trick, but so what then you can do is when you're going to the archives and you've done this for a dozen different ancestors, you can print out the list just for the state archives that you're going to go visit. And then you've got a whole list of all the ancestors and what it is you're looking for, because you've been putting it in your task list on Family Tree Maker. I'm sure the others have a similar kind of thing. I just don't know. Okay. So here is I'm going to bring this up full just so you can see it a little bit better. This is kind of a grid. This is also in the handout. So this is just kind of a layout of who has DNA, whether the tree is one that you build on your own or whether it is a collaborative tree. We'll talk about all this in a minute. Do they have records or not? What is the cost? Is it worldwide? What do they specialize in? And does it sync with software? And so Ancestry and MyHeritage are both subscription-based. You can, and Find My Past as well. You can build your own tree. They do have records. It costs money, right? And they're pretty much worldwide, but Find My Past specializes in UK, Ireland, and Wales. And I don't know if Find My Past syncs with software or not. I'm not that familiar with Find My Past. But know that FamilySearch and Wiki Tree are both collaborative trees. They're both free. And so we'll talk more about these here in a second. Software. Do you need it? In my opinion, no. I think the online platforms have gotten so good that you don't necessarily need the software anymore, but that's just me and the way I work. Some people want to work on their computer. Maybe you have internet connectivity issues, and so most of the time you want to just purchase a software, put it on your computer, and work that way. But that is my take on it. I don't know that you necessarily need software because the online programs are so good. It is a good way to back up, but I don't have any problem with the online software. Let's start with FamilySearch. FamilySearch is free, and it is the world's largest family tree. It is a collaborative tree, so everybody's working on one tree. It is incredible for record research, and it's worldwide. So at minimum, you should have a FamilySearch account. It is free. They do not spam you. I promise. It is an excellent resource. And so the thing that you need to be aware of, especially if you're brand new to genealogy, is the collaborative tree. When you go to the tree and you've already put yourself into the tree, when you go to the tree, you're seeing your little part of the world. It takes you to you in your little part of the giant, enormous tree that's on FamilySearch. And so because it's a collaborative tree, other people are contributing to the ancestor profiles that are on there, and you may have a disagreement with the information that's on there. So I suggest that you look in the mirror first. Did I make a mistake? If somebody is having an issue with something that I put on there. Now, for example, let's say that you have an ancestor who was in the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War. And a lot of times we find records where there are 3 guys with the same name or 3 sets of records, and you've attached one to the FamilySearch tree, but somebody else has done deeper research and says, no, that's not the record, and they've removed it. And then you may have gotten upset that somebody removed it. My point is, did you make a mistake? Read the comments that the other collaborators have put on there to see, because this happens a lot. You see multiple records with the same guy and you've accidentally attached the wrong person. So I'm just saying it's a collaborative tree. It's not just you contributing. Sometimes it is if you're the only one working on that part of the tree, but I'm just letting you know. So let's move on. MyHeritage is a subscription-based. You do build your own tree here. It is worldwide record research. In my opinion, they have the best DNA tools out there, but they're number 3 for DNA kits as far as the number of cousins that you could link to with your DNA kit. They are one of the best in outside of the United States research because they're really focused on worldwide records, as the other guys are as well, FamilySearch and Ancestry specifically. But MyHeritage is in 42 different languages, and they are working very hard to focus also on European countries as well. For example, they purchased Filet, which is a French genealogy website, and so they have a lot of that information there too. So just be aware that MyHeritage is another option. Find My Past is subscription. You do build your own tree there, and they focus on UK, Ireland, and Wales. But if you're in the United States, all of them are going to have the same census records, the governmental records that are freely available to us anyway. And then there is Ancestry. That is a subscription-based, and they here you can build your own tree, right? It's not a collaborative tree. It is worldwide records. They're number 1 in DNA kits, and it, I think, is probably more user-friendly than the other platforms. Now, I did not put prices on here, and one of the reasons why I did not is because they're in all of them, specifically Ancestry and MyHeritage are in the process of changing their subscription models. So I didn't want to put something out there only for it to change tomorrow, because you never know when they're going to announce their newest and latest thing. I know that MyHeritage is moving to an Omni subscription. Ancestry is moving to an individual versus a family plan subscription, and who knows when that's going to happen. So that's it in a nutshell. Then you have WikiTree, and that is free. This is a great resource. This is like FamilySearch in that you should be aware that they're here. It's a collaborative tree. They do not have records, but you can't add something to WikiTree without a source. So you have to give them a hyperlink to the Ancestry record or to the FamilySearch record or upload an image. It's not as user-friendly, but it's a place to be looking, because the WikiTreeers, they're hardcore. They really love WikiTree. The ones that are into it are into it. So the other thing they have too, which is kind of fun, is they have it's called G to G if you're looking in the menus, and it's genealogist to genealogist, and it's basically their help form. So if you need help, that's a place to go. Then we have my recommendations. If you're in the US, it all depends on where you're researching, but if you're researching in the United States, I would suggest Ancestry first, followed by FamilySearch and MyHeritage. The only reason I give FamilySearch second place is because of the collaborative tree, but all of them have excellent records to research. So, and some of them overlap, some of them are unique to the platform, so I'm just saying. If you're in the UK or Ireland, all of them are kind of equal in that. I do know that Find My Past has I think it's the 1939 registry that is unique to them alone. And then for non-English speaking countries, you have MyHeritage, which, because of the 42 different languages, I do recommend them for that. For DNA cousin research, I recommend Ancestry, MyHeritage, and for deeper dive into DNA, it would be MyHeritage and Family Tree DNA. So if you're brand new to genealogy, start with the easier stuff on Ancestry, but if you're going for a deeper dive into DNA, then MyHeritage and Family Tree DNA are good options for that as well. Again, multi-language stuff would be on MyHeritage. Okay, let's talk DNA for a second. Should you take a DNA test? Yes, absolutely, in my opinion. However, we always want to caution everybody that you may find surprises, okay? And so where should you be taking this DNA test? I would, if you're a beginner, start with Ancestry because they have the most DNA kits out there. And then you could always transfer to other places later, like MyHeritage, Family Tree DNA. Should you be testing other people, like your parents, your grandparents, and so on? Absolutely. Start with the oldest generation first. And be willing to pay for the test. And a lot of times this stuff goes on sale during the holidays. But here's my word of caution. Don't surprise your ancestor or your grandfather or your parents or whoever with a DNA test. Ask them first because they may not want to take a DNA test. It is their right, and they own the rights to the DNA once they take the test. But even though you may have purchased it and are managing it for them, they own the DNA rights, so just be aware of that. Yeah, I see some of the comments up there about some various places. If you want to check out in the comment sections, there's some comments about where to research in Scotland and other places. And so we're going to press on. So one primary location for your go-to tree is my advice to you. So pick a platform. What is that going to be? Okay. Transfer to others if desired. You know, if you're literally just getting started, don't do this yet. Just pick one platform and just start your research because I don't want to overwhelm you with all the options that you could do, right? Don't try to keep up on all the trees. It's a waste of time. So if you end up on all the platforms, like you're on Ancestry and you're on FamilySearch and you're on MyHeritage, you're on WikiTree, right? Don't try and keep up every time you find a new answer, just don't run out there and try and add them to all of the platforms. It's literally will drive you crazy. You just can't do it. Pick one place, stick to that as your go-to tree, and then use the other platforms for research. Now, what I do, and I say at minimum use FamilySearch because you should be using FamilySearch. Absolutely, without a doubt, it's free and it is a fabulous resource. So if for some reason you decide that you want to be on the other platforms, what you might want to do is, as you're researching specific people, go put that one person or that family unit, the husband, wife, and children, on that platform to let the algorithm work for you and help find records once you've exhausted the place that your go-to tree is. For me, my go-to tree is on Ancestry. I love the platform. I use FamilySearch every time I research. It is, you know, it's like a hammer and nails to me. You can't use one without the other. Okay, so FamilySearch Wiki is another fabulous resource. If you're trying to find records and you forget, how do I find a birth certificate in, you know, Toledo, Ohio? Well, go to the FamilySearch Wiki. And if you guys want me to demonstrate that, I'll do that after the presentation is over. But you go to the Wiki, you go to FamilySearch, you log in, right? You go to search, and then you drop down to the Research Wiki. It's that easy. And I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. And then MyHeritage, for deeper DNA research for sure. They've got tools that nobody else has. And, you know, other platforms as needed. Eventually, as you start to grow as a genealogist, you will get that. I see the questions popping in. Thank you for the QQQ. It will, I will need to address that toward the end, so you may have to repopulate those questions later. Just giving you the heads up. So, begin with a research question. This kind of goes back to the family lore. You know, oh, I always heard that, you know, whatever. And so if you want to figure that out, what is that burning question that you want to know? Let's start there. And then you're going to work toward that. Who is it you want to know about? And where are they? And what do you want to know, right? So all of that can kind of formulate a research question. And so an example might be, I heard my great-grandfather came from Ireland. When and where did he immigrate to the United States? Great question. We're going to be looking for immigration records, but we're also going to be working from today backwards. This is your great-grandfather. Do you have everything between you and the great-grandfather done before you get to that question? That might be the question that you kind of put on a sticky note and you say, I'm working toward that, but make sure that you are really pushing through to all of that, you know, getting everything done before you get to your great-grandfather to make sure. Because it may be that the grandfather, his records have information about where his parents came from. I know my grandmother was born in Denmark in 1880, but exactly where was she born? Another great example of a research question. So it's kind of got, and of course, your great-grandfather would be named, or your grandmother would be named in the research question. I just did this generically here. But it might be my grandmother, Elma Madsen, was born in Denmark in 1880. Exactly where was she born? So there's an example of a research question. So start there. All right, as always, we're working backwards toward that answer. So start with what you know and work to the unknown. Sometimes that means that all the research we do, we might have to start with the younger generations first to find everything so that we can provide all the clues that we have in those records, and sometimes we have to go sideways. Now, what do I mean by that? Sideways is this. So we have the family unit, right? We have family and friends, associates, and neighbors. Now, that's also known as the fan club, the friends, associates, and neighbors. We have Elizabeth Schoen Mills to thank for that acronym. She came up with that, and it's brilliant. And so it is searching the family and the fan club that we can help find more clues about our family. For example, let's say that we're trying to search Hilkiah Winslow and we're finding out that Hardy Winslow is his father, but we really want to find more. Well, sometimes we have to go sideways to get the information. Why do I say that? Here's an example. Let's pretend for a moment that Hilkiah is married to Mary. This is my real family, by the way. And Mary has inherited the family Bible from her parents. And in that family Bible, she put information about her husband's family. Then Mary dies in 1876, and the family hands off that family Bible to the sister. The sister hands it down to the children. One of these children might have that family Bible that has that information. Now, this could be any kind of record. I used the family Bible as an example, but it could be photographs, it could be anything. So sometimes we have to go sideways and then back down to find the records. So just be aware of that as you're doing your research. All right, so let's talk about FamilySearch Wiki for a moment. So this is where I was talking about before. Great place to come figure out where the records are. So if you don't know where, I don't know, let's say you're trying to figure out, you're looking for an obituary for someone who died. And you know that obituaries are probably in newspapers, and the newspapers, what newspapers were published. Let's say this person died in, I don't know, the 1860s. And so you're trying to figure out where on earth, what newspapers existed in that area, where this obituary could possibly be. Well, go to FamilySearch. Again, it's free, so you should be on there. And go to search, drop down to the research wiki, and it'll take you to this page. Then you drill in by location. And I'm not going to go into a great deal of information about the wiki right now, but I'm telling you, if drill into North America, then you would drill into the United States, let's say. And if they're in Ohio, then we would drill into the state of Ohio. Then we drill into the county. And then on the right-hand side, there's a whole list of records. There's also information in the middle. And so you look for the newspaper link, and it pops you down to the newspaper link, and it tells you exactly where the newspapers are for that time period. If there's nothing, if you don't get the handout, that's fine. Write this down. FamilySearch.org/wiki. That will get you here. And that's probably one of the best resources you'll find. Now, MyHeritage has launched the wiki in the past year as well. Ancestry, it's a search function through the card catalog. There are tons of lessons here on the YouTube channel about that. And so, all right. This one I just have to put up. Hang on one second. I'm looking to the top of this list. Here is a comment. Thank you so much for research notes video. Makes all the difference in my research. Also enjoyed cleaning up the profile. We're going to talk about research notes a little bit later, briefly, but research notes are one of the things that I'm a big believer in. So if you are first time here, research notes is not the last time you're going to hear about it. But let's talk about an ancestor's timeline. So as you're starting to work on your research notes, you're going to create a timeline. And that's birth, religion, school, achievements, newspapers. I mean, it could be anything, but you're creating a timeline in chronological order in your research notes about the records that you're finding. Okay? And so I think that the timelines, and like Ancestry creates a timeline for you. I actually think all of them do, but the reality is it's not going to have as much information as you will in your own research notes. Okay? You can find more information at state archives, federal archives. All that information is free. County libraries, courthouses, university libraries, and cemeteries. So, you know, all of those locations are free, and a lot of it is online for you to find. So when I first started, I'm sure some of you have seen this before, especially if you've been doing genealogy for a while. This is a microfilm reader, and they actually are still in place in some of the family history libraries and some of the local libraries. My county library has one where you can look at microfilm. This was before computers were invented, and so we would sit there and scroll through microfilm page after page after page. I'm sure many of you have done that before. And so when I first started, yeah, personal computers did not exist. I've been doing this for like 47 some years. My mom was adopted, and I found her biological family without DNA and without computers. So if I can do it, you can do it. I wanted a checklist, and that is what's in the handout. It's kind of a checklist, path to follow if you want the handout. Some of what you will do will be instinct, and some you will learn, like what kind of records are more accurate than others, where to find the records. Not everything is on Ancestry, I promise you. Not everything's on FamilySearch. Not everything's on MyHeritage. You're going to have to dig around, but pick that one platform that you're going to start with. And you're going to learn how to resolve conflicts. So you might have birthplaces that vary, or birth dates, or marriage dates that don't jive. Part of the research process is learning how to resolve those conflicts. So when I first started, I was 15. I almost didn't use this picture because it's embarrassing. But yeah, that's me about the age of 15, sometime in high school. I joined the Southern California Genealogical Society. It was the first place I think I joined. I think there was a Huntington Beach. I was living near Huntington Beach at the time. I think there was a Huntington Beach Genealogical Society too. And what's funny is when I go to the meetings, I was the youngest one there, and they'd say, "Oh, whose granddaughter are you?" And I would say, "I'm here to learn genealogy." So don't underestimate the young ones, okay? So I was bitten by the genealogy bug very early, and I've been doing it ever since. And especially when my grandmother told me that her folks came across the country in a covered wagon, and yeah, my imagination went wild. And oh, wait, they came from Denmark? What? Oh, I had to know more. So yeah, it's been a lifelong passion ever since. So yeah, who knew, right? So you learn anything new yet? I hope so. Let's see what we. It just occurred to me that maybe you haven't learned anything about me yet, and you're going, "Who's this crazy woman trying to teach me how to do genealogy?" And so let me just give you some background real quick. Of course, my name is Connie Knox, and here, I'll throw this on the screen so that you can see who I am. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'd spent 40 years in television broadcasting, and yeah, I started in a public broadcasting station in Southern California as a production assistant, then moved into a camera operator. I was a teleprompter operator for a while, and also did engineering there as well. So that's where I started. And so shout out to KOCE TV in Huntington Beach, California. That's where I started my career. I became an independent producer. I met my husband in the business. We married and merged companies, and then we built a TV station and owned it for a while, and then we sold it, and then I managed that same TV station as a CBS affiliate for the last 20 years in my broadcasting career. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, all the time doing genealogy for a long time. So as I'd like to say, I went from PBS to CBS, and then I decided that genealogy was really something I really absolutely wanted to, you know, talk about a pivot. I switched from broadcasting to genealogy. So I had this dream of building a genealogy business, and I started working on that many years ago. And then I did professional research. Obviously, I'm still doing some, and teaching genealogy really was the dream, because I absolutely love teaching genealogy. It is so much fun to me, and to watch people discover their family history is just golden to me. I just love it. So that's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel in 2018, and then the Genealogy TV Academy in 2022. And so, as I like to say, I'm living the dream, teaching and creating content for the sole purpose of education and teaching genealogy skills. And so one of the ways that I, feel like I really am trying to do stuff at all levels, no matter what people can afford. So the Genealogy TV YouTube channel is always available and free to you anytime. I'm uploading almost every week. I try to create handouts for as many that is necessary to help offset the cost of doing the Genealogy TV YouTube channel and help support you. A lot of people like the handouts, so they're anywhere, typically they're $5 to $10, but I put 20 on there just to cover whatever beefy one I might have up there. So the handouts are also available to you as a YouTube channel member. If you're at the information access level, you would just click the join button there and you get the handouts that are in the membership tab there. So if that is something you would like to do, you can hit the join button there. And then there's also alternatively on Patreon, this is at patreon.com/genealogytv. For $15 a month, you get the handouts, and those are actually emailed to you. So again, all of this kind of helps offset the cost of doing what I do here on the YouTube channel. And then I created that academy because I really wanted to be able to do face-to-face conversations with you on Zoom. We have a group, lessons there, as well as an entire library of hundreds of videos. This is my little Albert character that I created some time ago when I created the Academy. And so Albert is exclusive to the Academy. And so what I do is I teach you skills that you can learn. These are organizational skills, record research, record evaluation, which is really important in learning genealogy, is to understand the little nuances and how to read a record beyond just the data that's there, and to understand what is valuable and what's not, what could be accurate, what might not be accurate, when the document was created, and so on. This whole library of things that we kind of, a list that we kind of look through and when we're doing record evaluation. Then there's correlation of evidence, which is really important when we're comparing census records or comparing all records and comparing facts within records to figure out what's accurate and what is not. Then there's documentation. Primarily, in my opinion, research notes are probably one of the biggest things that you could learn as a skill to help you with your family history research. And so then there is, of course, research tools and research strategies. There's a lot of them out there. Some I've developed, some I teach that are other people's strategies. I have several of my own that I think are pretty valuable, that have really been game changers for some folks. So these are all skills you can learn. And the idea is to learn the skills so that you can take them anywhere, any part of the country, any part around the world to do your family history research. These are skills that you can learn kind of to help you take your family history back generation after generation and ancestor after ancestor, right? And go back as far as the paper trail will let you, okay? So there are two components, of course. There is the self-guided courses, and then there is the live classroom. So really, it's the self-guided courses are all of the recorded material. And so what I call the self-guided courses, but you'll see them here in a second, but there's several of them up there that are stuff you can watch right now. And then, and get the handouts and work through that stuff. And then we also have the live Zoom presentations that happen on the first Wednesday of each month, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then there is the Q&A sessions that are on the third Wednesday of each month at 3 p.m. So all of that collectively, there's just a ton of stuff that you can learn, but it's all self-paced. You can do it on your own time. You can watch as much or as little as you want and work through your stuff. So everything is recorded, and so if you can't make one of the live sessions, not a problem. you can watch the recorded session a couple days later. And so this library at this point has hundreds of videos and lessons and handouts and worksheets and whatnot in there that I have been working on for several years now, and it's grown. I'm very proud of it. It's coming along. So the courses, just to give you an idea, the Getting Started in Genealogy course is perfect for beginners, followed by the Smart Research course, which really kind of takes you to the next step after the Getting Started courses. And that really is the foundation for which you can start your genealogy journey, especially if you're brand new. Then there is the 2024 live Zoom classes and recordings as they continue on throughout the year as well. We have 2 years of back library, the 2022 and 2023 recorded sessions from all of the live sessions that we've done. There is the 2024 YouTube videos. Now these are the, and if you see the little YouTube logo on there, those are lessons that have come from the YouTube channel and have now been put on the platform so that you can watch that commercial free and have the handouts with every single one of them. So you'll see there's lots of them. So we've got all of the entire year of 2023 up there, the entire year of 2022 up there. Those are all the YouTube videos and handouts. 2021 is coming soon. I'm starting to work on that. I've got a lot of the videos up there. I'm still working on the handouts and making sure that you'll be able to get to all that stuff. Then there is also the new member orientation, just to help you learn how to navigate the platform. There are paths. The paths are designed by subject. So there's the Getting Organized path. It's like a collection, it's like a playlist of either YouTube videos from the platform or Academy sessions that it may be a mix of both, just depends. So the path idea is a playlist by subject, okay? So we have the Getting Organized, we have the research notes, the ancestry DNA, and the floating tree path at the moment. And then all of that includes the handouts and worksheets. Again, the live classes are on the first Wednesday of each month. These are the presentation days. And then there's the Q&A day on the third Wednesday of each month. So we're getting together a couple times a month for a little, usually they run about an hour and 15 minutes. And then there is the recorded content that all of this. So the little Albert, if you see the little Albert next to it, it means it's content exclusive for the Academy. So there are 11 lessons there. There are the Getting Organized path, which is a combination of exclusive stuff from the Academy and the YouTube channel videos. There are 9 lessons there. The Smart Research course, there are 9 lessons there. 2022 lessons, there are 47 there. And 2023 lessons, there are 48 lessons there. Again, all of these included in the handout, or have handouts with them, if that makes sense. And then, 2024 is ongoing. So there's 27 up there to date, and there'll be more as the year continues. There's the floating tree path. There's 3 of those. There's 5 in the research notes path. There's 10 in the ancestry DNA path. There's live classroom 2022 to 2023 Zoom classes. That's 2 years worth of lessons. There are 45 lessons there. And there are live classroom sessions, obviously, to date, 14. That's a total of about 228 lessons. I think I counted that right. There may be more. So the 2021 YouTube lessons are coming soon. That's going to be another 67 lessons that particular year. I think I was producing 2 a week. So there are a ton there, and more live Zoom sessions to come later this year. So there's a lot to look at, which is, I think, a tremendous value. So upcoming subjects. Next week, we're going to be talking about record evaluation. Then these are the subjects that I'm looking at for the rest of this year. Kind of a deeper dive into research notes is a very popular subject. Digging into the FamilySearch website a little bit more. DNA grouping of cousin matches and beyond newspapers. we'll see. And then, of course, all of that has handouts and worksheets as necessary. There is the private Facebook group, which is a great place to ask questions. Great community. I love the Insiders Facebook group. You won't find this if you go searching on Facebook because it's locked down. It's for members only. And so it's a great place to ask questions in between sessions. So if you have something that you want to show and say, hey, I can't read this handwriting. Anybody have an idea what this says? People will help jump in. So the annual value of that, all of those recorded sessions, the live Zoom classes, the handouts, the worksheets, and the Insiders group, I'm valuing it about $17,000, and membership is really only $62 a month. But hang in there with me for a second. So if you're interested in the Academy, go to genealogytv.org/academy. So my question for you is, how much is it worth to have the confidence in your family history, right? And to be able to find those ancestors and break down some of those brick walls that you may be facing. And then you will be able to get it all organized and have those skills that you can use over and over and over again, ancestor after ancestor, generation after generation, and share that with your family and future generations. Probably youngsters you haven't even met yet will be able to benefit from your research. So right now, this weekend, you can get 25% off the Academy, which will bring it down from $62 to $46.50 if you use the promo code GTVA25 and the percent symbol at checkout. I'm going to show you how to do that so that you don't miss it. And if you're committed to learning, I'm committed to teaching, because I'm just absolutely enjoying doing this, and I think it's contagious. And you will learn that learning good research skills is worth the effort and worth the time. And so I'm committed to helping you with your genealogy journey. New members will get 3 handouts: the 10 tips to breaking down brick walls and getting unstuck, the how to create great research notes, and the how to group your DNA matches on Ancestry into 4 groups of your grandparents. So all of that collectively has a value of a little over $17,000. And so you can get in right now for $46.50 a month. As long as you're a member, you have access to everything. And again, the promo code is GTVA25 and the percent symbol. And you would go to genealogytv.org/academy to learn a little bit more. So there is also an annual option. If you choose the annual option, then you get an extra 10% off to start with, automatically. It's automatically taken off. And then you can stack the promo code on top of that, and that brings it down equivalent to $41.85 a month when you pay it annually. Okay? So are you ready to stop making mistakes and to get organized, improve your lineage, to learn good, quality, smart research skills, and to have the confidence in your research so that you can share your family history with your family and future generations? And, you know, the work you do today will be around for hundreds of years and for people that you will never meet. And so I'm a big believer in recording your family history. Can you tell? So when you join the Genealogy TV Academy, you'll get unlimited use of the courses during your membership, access to all the YouTube videos from 2022 to current day. I'm hoping to get 2021 up before the end of the year. All of that's commercial free. And with the handouts, access to the monthly live Zoom meetings, access to the live Q&A Zoom sessions as well, access to the recorded sessions library. As you saw, there was like 220 some sessions so far, and all the handouts and worksheets, early access to YouTube videos. As I produce them, I try and get them up on the Academy website before they go live on the YouTube channel so that you have first look at them. It depends on the schedule, but I try and get these up ASAP for you. And then the Genealogy TV Insiders group on Facebook. So this weekend only, you can get access to it. Use that GTVA promo code So a couple quick questions that people usually have is who's teaching the courses. I would say 75 to 80% of the time it's me. Occasionally I'll have a guest. Will the live classes be recorded? As you know, yes. Is this the same as the Genealogy TV channel membership or on YouTube and or Patreon? It's a crossover on some of those because all of the YouTube videos, the handouts get published on those memberships each time we upload one. But at the Academy, you get all of the handouts all at one time. You just got to go get them out of the lesson. So, you know, it'd be smart to watch the lesson and get the handout and just work your way through them. And can I ask questions? Of course you can. This is part of the benefits of being part of the Academy is to be able to ask questions of me and Ashley. And also on the Insiders group, it's a community and everybody's invited to join in. If you know the answer to a question, I highly encourage you to jump in. I try and get in there every day, but I can't always get in there. And then Ashley's in there often, especially, I'm trying to take the weekends off occasionally, but, you know, I try and get in there as often as I can and answer your questions. So I'm monitoring it frequently as well as Ashley. So, my guarantee to you is your satisfaction is our priority. It truly is. And if you're not satisfied, I want to know about it. And if you change your mind for any reason and aren't satisfied, just send me an email within 14 days of your purchase and we'll refund the full amount within 24 business hours. Okay. So if you want to get in, now's the time. If you want to get that discount, make sure you're using the GTV 25 and the % symbol either at checkout or on the first screen. I'm going to show you here in a second. And if you want to go for the annual option, it brings it down to $41.85. Quite honestly, I can spend that much buying a Domino's pizza. So if you go to the website here at genealogytv.org /academy, you'll get to this page where it goes through. If you click the Get Started button, it brings you over to the checkout screen. Here's where you put the coupon code in, right here. You would add the GTVA 25 and the % symbol and you hit apply coupon and it adds whatever membership you chose, whether it was the monthly or the annual, it's going to add that 25%. If you added the annual to begin with, it automatically took 10% off. So your total bill would be reflected of that. Long story short. So I hope that helped give you some insight as to what I do, what my passion is. My passion is to help you learn genealogy. So, you know, there's a bunch of things that I wish I knew when I started, and so I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. Just know that for the Academy, the next lesson is going to be record evaluation, and I think it's going to be a good one. We're going to kind of go through some specifics on, we're going to examine certain records and kind of go through that. So anyway, let's talk about what I wish I knew when I started. Don't be in a hurry. I think this is, to me, it's a no-brainer, but a lot of people want, like, I had a client one time who said he was going to, I think it was Scotland, because he had heard his great-great-grandfather was in Scotland and he wanted to prove his lineage. So because they were already planning a vacation to Scotland, and it takes some time to do that research properly to make sure you're not barking up the wrong tree. So make sure that, you know, you're not in a hurry. Do thorough research to begin with. Gathering everything you can on one ancestor before moving on to the next is, I think, vital. I've known people, and I'm not going to name names, but some very famous people in the business who have spent years researching the wrong branch of the tree because they made one or two mistakes down earlier and they hadn't done enough thorough research to begin with, and so it became an issue. So just make sure you're doing thorough research to begin with, as you're working backwards, improve that lineage, and try and gather everything you can, one ancestor at a time before moving back to the next one. Verify the links with records between family before jumping into the next generation back, which is kind of, again, what I just said. And stay organized every day. So I'm going to use the woodworking analogy. I recently got into woodworking, and clean up the shop every time you are done building something. And same goes with the family history. Every time you are closing up shop for the day, put your files away, put things back, bookmark things, do whatever you need to do to stay organized so that when you come back, you know exactly where you left off. I even use some of those codes, some of the tree tags on Ancestry, and I created a custom one that says left off here, so that when I go back to the tree and I search for the tree tag left off here, I get a list of everybody that I was last working on. You can do the same thing with emojis, with the, you know, some sort of symbol that means something to you that shows that you're still actively researching that person. And so I saw a bunch of good questions come in. We're going to get to your questions here in just a minute. But more of what I wish I knew when I started is to learn good filing habits from the start. They're actually some of the lessons I started with in 2018 on this channel. Talk about, I think the name of the lesson is Good Filing Habits from the Start. I think it's like the second or third in the list, to show you how to organize your, all those little notes, the records that you're finding, all that stuff. And keep good research notes on each ancestor. Again, you could search the channel for research notes and find a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch more at the Academy. Don't import from other trees. I know this is a big one. I'm sure that the comment section will light up with people saying, yeah, don't import from other trees. It causes mistakes. So you can certainly import from other trees. Just verify with records first before you do that what you're importing is accurate, okay? And then learn good record evaluation, which is, you know, part of what we're talking about next week at the Academy. And know that not all records are correct. This is why we do record evaluation, is because, perfect example, census records are not absolutely accurate. And so, you know, record evaluation, good research notes, and filing are some of the best skills that you can learn about, you know, to get started in genealogy, because those three things are going to keep you on track. And those are skills that are really kind of game changer type of skills. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water while you watch this quick little insert about the Facebook page. Whoops, it didn't go. Hey, we're going to get back to that video here in just a moment, but I want to let you know that Genealogy TV has a website, a newsletter, and a Facebook page. Links for all of that are in the show notes below. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, I'm refreshed now. Okay, so here's some of the things you can do. And this is one of those things I added at the last minute. It's not even in the slide presentation, but some of the records are census records. No matter what country you're in, census records were usually created to count the number of people. A lot of times, at least in the United States, it was created to give representation in Congress. So they had to know how many people were in each location. So census records, while they are the backbone of our genealogy research, they're probably some of the first records you're going to encounter. They're some of the best records you're going to encounter. They do have some mistakes in them, so yes, they do. Vital records is another one. Land and probate. Those four sets of records right there, vital records are birth, marriage, and death records, are probably some of the top records you're going to find as far as quality research. Again, there's a whole list of them in the handout if you want the handout. And I saw somebody had asked, the handout will be on the website if it's not already at genealogytv.org, or if you're a member of the channel membership, it'll be in the membership tab. If you're a Patreon member, it'll be in one of the posts in Patreon, and it will be up on the Academy website probably in a couple of days for everyone. But anyway, so those are some of the top things that you can do for finding some of the records. And so I've got a couple more little quick tips for you. Enjoy the journey, right? This is going to be fun. And do not allow overwhelm. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you're looking at a box of records and stuff. It's a mindset, right? Just don't allow it. It's not an option. Overwhelm is not an option, okay? Have fun creating your histories, whether it's creating scrapbooks or family journals or quilts or tree charts or whatever it is. I do have a word of advice here, though. If you're just starting genealogy and you think you're going to be able to put together a book by Christmas, I'm just saying, it's not that easy. And taking a DNA test is not going to automatically ripple out a family tree for you. So there is some work to be done there. So I'm just saying. All right. So I'm super excited now because I have been wanting to do this for a while. And so we are now going to do the unboxing of the award from YouTube. Here it is on my desk. I've been dying to do this. I know we're a little over an hour into this program already, but you know, if you're still with me, thank you for hanging in there. And if you're a subscriber of the channel, thank you so much. And if you're not, I hope you'll subscribe and consider that. And yeah, so anyway, I'm super excited to do this and open this up. So yeah, let me see if I can do this and still have it show on the screen. So they sent us a nice letter. I'm not going to read that due to time, but it basically says, do you remember your first subscriber? Your 100th and your 1000th, chances are you do. And we now, let's see, you'll definitely remember your 100,000th subscriber. And yeah, we did that live too. So I'm trying to get this in a position where it can be seen. Let me set that aside. And there it is, the big award. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to set this on the floor. And yes, this is so fun. So exciting. Yes. I know it's not exciting for you, but it is for me. It was a long time coming. It says presented to Genealogy TV for passing 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And yeah, I'm super excited. So that'll probably go up somewhere in the background. But yay, I got it. So fabulous. All right. So if you have any questions, you want to put them in the chat with QQQ, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. And so just if there's no other advice I have for you is to stay organized. It's a game changer for sure. And to me, part of that organization is keeping it in your files and, you know, organizing your files by ancestor, by surname. There's a whole thing I do on that, and how to do that with keeping research notes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the questions now. I have added a bunch to the queue. Let me take a look. And so let's see. Here is, let me get rid of this QQQ in the background there. What application do you use to record your research? And congratulations. Thank you, Debbie. I use Word to keep research notes, and I use Ancestry, you know, for the primary tree. So hopefully that answered your question there. Yeah, I keep my research notes in Word, Microsoft Word. Stacy says, can you update the handout on the State Archives online database? Some of the links are broken because they have changed. Yeah, thank you. I was not aware of that, and I will certainly try and work on that. Debbie says, Connie, how do you locate ship manifests from Italy? I don't Oh, I think that's South America. Steve Morse has nothing. So Ancestry would be one place to look. I would also look at the state archives. You could also go to the state or the federal archives, both in those countries, to see if there's something there. I'm not an expert on either Italy or South America, so you might need to employ an expert in that area. Let's see, what else do we have here? You mentioned, actually there was a couple questions about this. You mentioned MyHeritage is number 3 and for DNA kits, and Ancestry is number 1. Who's number 2? 23andMe. But one of the reasons why I didn't really get into 23andMe is because they're not as big into the family history development, as 23andMe was originally created for health reasons, to help you discover genetic health issues. And so they have the number 2 kit out there. So let me go back to the questions here and see if I can see any more. All right, let's see if I can answer this one. You have viewed the profile quality score in FamilySearch Labs. Have you tried the profile quality compare in Pro Tools function on Ancestry? I've played with it, but it's not something I'm focused on because I know my research and I know my research notes. And so my research notes are going to far exceed whatever quality score they give me on Ancestry or any other location, because there's so much more meat in the research notes that I could never put on Ancestry. So I hope that answers that question. Let's see if there's any others. All right, I don't see any other questions. I know there was some older ones, and I'm sorry. I will try and get back to those later, maybe somehow in the chat. But for now, I think... oh, I have one more question up here. Hang on, Jan. I'll get you on there. She says, when death records aren't found, even though they did after it was required, do you know if you can go look at the records in Raleigh? Someone told us that they no longer accept walk-in. I'm not sure about that. Death records that aren't found even though they died after they were required. So one of the things you might want to do is look at the place of origin, because death records usually are originated at the county level. So you might try the county, and then I don't know specifically about the Raleigh archives as to what's going on there. I'm sorry, I wish I had more for you, but there's always alternative death records too. For example, after 1935, 1936, there's the Social Security Death Index, and those records, there's obituaries, there's cemetery records, find a grave, that kind of stuff might give you some more information about death records. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to end the stream now. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there with us, and thanks for subscribing and liking and all the things that you do to help support the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you.